We assume that if someone is going to be good with money, it should be people like doctors, lawyers, engineers, business executives, people with advanced degrees and high IQs. But I've seen something surprising. I've seen doctors earn seven figures and have nothing saved for retirement. Some of the smartest people I've met have made some of the worst financial decisions. In fact, sometimes they don't think about money at all. And today I'm going to show you why so that you do not fall for the same traps. Let's start with a common belief. Smart people are used to being right. They've built careers on solving problems, using logic, and outperforming others in their field. But money doesn't work like that. It doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards discipline. Some smart people assume that if they're intelligent in one area, they'll be intelligent in all areas, including finance. For example, a doctor might think if I can master medicine, then I can master finance. An engineer might believe if I can solve complex equations, then I can beat the stock market. And that's where the problems begin. I've seen high income earners ignore financial advisors' advice because they think they know better. I've seen them pour money into risky investments thinking that they have an edge. They aren't making financial decisions based on sound principles. They're thinking that they are so intelligent that they are too smart to fail. And that overconfidence costs them everything. Because the market doesn't care how smart you are. It doesn't care how many degrees you have or how successful you've been in your career. If you ignore the rules of building wealth, then you will lose. When some smart people lose money, they don't just lose it, they double down. They assume that they just need more research, more time, more control to prove that they were right. That's how overconfidence takes small mistakes and turns them into massive financial failures. And when that happens, they fall into a very dangerous trap. Some smart people don't take too many risks. In fact, they do the exact opposite. They overthink everything. I've seen high earners spend months researching the perfect investment, only to do nothing because they are still too unsure. I've seen professionals run endless calculations on when to retire, but are still working because they are afraid of making the wrong move. They want absolute certainty. They want to know every possible risk, every possible outcome, every possible variable. And because they can never have all the answers, they freeze. This is the paralysis by analysis trap. The fear of making a mistake leads to no decision at all. They wait too long to invest, losing out on years of compound growth. They delay making important financial decisions, thinking that they just need more research. They let opportunities pass by because they're waiting for the perfect time, which never comes. But here's what smart people often do not realize. Doing nothing is a decision, and it's often the worst one. Money doesn't grow while you're sitting it on the sidelines. Time is the only thing that you cannot get back. And by the time they realize that they should have acted sooner, they've lost years of potential wealth. That's why some of the smartest people never build real financial security. They think making no decision is safer than making a wrong decision. But in reality, inaction is its own kind of failure. And that's when many of them fall into another dangerous mindset. Smart people are busy. Their career demands their attention. Their work is complex, their schedules are full, and financial planning, it feels like something they can deal with later. They assume that as long as they keep making great money, then everything will work itself out. I've seen doctors pushing retirement planning until age 50 or so, only to realize that they have not saved enough. I've seen attorneys and lawyers with massive salaries but zero assets because they thought they had plenty of time to save and invest. I've seen business owners reinvest every dollar back into the company only to end up with extreme financial struggles when the company is not doing well. When you don't have a plan, you're making one simple yet dangerous assumption: the future will look like today. But things change. Markets crash, careers shift, health declines, and waiting until later, well, later always means it costs more. The smartest retirees aren't the ones who make the most money. They are the ones who started planning early while they still had time to make the right moves. And by the time they realize that they should have been paying attention, it's really too late to fix their biggest mistakes. High income earners think they're safe. They think, I make good money, so I can afford this. And that is how it starts. A luxury car, a bigger house, expensive vacations, the best schools for their kids. None of it feels like a problem because the money keeps coming in. But I've seen this play out too many times. Smart, high-income earners spend just as much money as they're bringing in, and sometimes even faster. The more they make, the more they spend. And before they know it, their lifestyle costs just as much as their paycheck. And that's the trap. It doesn't feel reckless. It doesn't feel irresponsible because technically they can afford it until something changes. A job loss, a medical emergency, an economic slowdown. Suddenly that comfortable lifestyle becomes a weight that they cannot escape. And if you're spending every dollar that comes in, you're not building wealth. You're just renting a rich lifestyle until that dollar runs out. The smartest people financially don't just think about today, they think about what happens if today changes. So this brings us to the question, how can you avoid these financial traps? Well, the answer lies in one simple concept, and that is that being smart is not enough. Making good money isn't enough. In fact, avoiding financial mistakes takes a strategy. The wealthiest, most financially secure people follow these 3 simple rules. First, they admit what they do not know. They understand that being smart in one area does not make them an expert in finance. They ask for help. They work with professionals. They build plans based on facts, not assumptions. Second, they don't let fear stop them from making decisions. They don't wait for the perfect time. They don't wait for the perfect investment or the perfect conditions. They take action early because they know that time in the market beats timing the market every single time. And third, they control their lifestyle before their lifestyle controls them. They live on less than they earn, even when they make a lot. They invest first and spend second. They don't fall in the trap of thinking that their income will always be there because nothing is guaranteed. The smartest financial people aren't always the ones with the highest IQs. They're the ones who follow financial systems that work. This is why so many brilliant people can struggle financially. They assumed that intelligence will protect them. They overanalyze, they overspend, or they ignore money entirely. But the people who stay wealthy, they don't rely on intelligence alone. They follow a plan. So ask yourself, do you have a real financial strategy, or are you just waiting to kind of figure it out later? Because if you don't have a plan, then I can help. I'm offering a complimentary financial plan to help you avoid these traps and build a plan that actually works. Click the link in the description to schedule your session. And if this video helped you see financial success differently, then go ahead and subscribe because I'm here to help you build a financial plan that works for you. Thank you, and as always, have a lovely day.